Welcome back and thanks for being here. It's Monday, another Monday. It's also, the last one for the month of October. It's the Monday before the dreaded, maybe welcome. In your case, I'm not so sure. Dreaded in mine, time change. Yeah, time. Time to change those clocks this weekend and losing that precious daylight. We are doing so in a much different weather pattern than we saw October begin on. Not so much from late last week. We're going to be stuck in the 50s. We've got shower chances. We've got a really strong cold front responsible for all of this, and actually it's going to it's going to help keep Hurricane Melissa at bay and off of pretty much the East Coast directly, at least. We'll go into that in more detail, as Hurricane Melissa is now, as of last report, the strongest hurricane in the world. Yeah, that's saying something, right? So certainly, weather to speak of, and a whole lot of news before we get to that. And again, welcome back, and I hope your weekend went well. Educators in Floyd County started the day with a bomb threat they had to deal with this morning, as I understand, per Superintendent of Floyd County Schools. Adams Middle School administration was alerted by a student about a bomb threat made against the school. The student reported receiving a threatening text message on Friday from another student, but only notified officials as of early today. And after they learned of the situation, they acted, called 911, went through all the safety protocols, called a bomb-sniffing canine in to clear the building. This while students were taken from their building to the city utilities building next door while the comprehensive search went on there. Then they were taken to the Prestonsburg High School, where they stayed and actually got to participate in a pre-scheduled program at that school. And after it was safety cleared, they began their investigation, and so far authorities have identified, not publicly of course due to their age, and taken into custody an 11-year-old student connected to the incident. The student, who did send, they believe, a text message that was reported this morning, will be charged with terroristic threatening in the first degree. And this is not the same student who alerted authorities. At no time, they say, were any students in danger as a result. The Hatfield-McCoy, a popular ATV trail, and it was the scene of a fatality over the course of the weekend of a teenager, a 13-year-old, as we've now learned, from North Carolina, who was visiting in the area along with a group and traveling the Hatfield-McCoy in a side-by-side ATV when the teenager left the trail and then plunged over into a ravine and passed away from his or her injuries. The teenager was the only person on that ATV, but was riding with a group of others at the time of the accident. Let's go ahead and begin with the Big Sandy Regional Detention Center Jail Authority Board. They met in regular session late last week. We've got some coverage of that meeting tonight. We'll begin with a presentation by their CPA, who presented the fiscal audit for the year ending June the 30th, who said that pretty much at this time, the jail is broke. CPA Darrell Blair explaining that the general fund has about $108,000 in cash. The jail has about $23,000 in investments, and for the last fiscal year, which just wrapped up at the end of June, they had revenue of $2.9 million, and they had expenditures of $3.6 million. They were able to pull about $130,000 from the commissary fund, but that still left them with a deficit for the end of the fiscal year of more than $530,000, and things have not gotten any better to start off this fiscal year.
As you guys can see, you did spend $533,487 more than you actually took in. And we really don't have the money in the bank to cover another year's expenses going over like we did last year. And pretty much, you don't have enough money in the bank to cover your bills plus next month's or next time's payroll. So pretty much you're about broke. So we got to really figure out what we can do to kind of ease the pain as far as with the finances. And if you look at page number 7, I've kind of looked at down your expenditures, what we've actually cut in order to ease that burden some. As you can see, your most expenses are in the food, but you can't cut food because you got to spend and feed your prisoners. Next one is routine medical. I mean, everybody has to have medical needs, so you really can't do much with that either. Utilities, that's pretty much set. Insurance, that's another high one, it's pretty much set. So if you look at your salary and wages, you guys are paying out over $2 million a year for payroll. That's the only option that you've got to cut your expenses as far as that would really matter. Nobody likes to cut wages, nobody likes to lay people off. But as I said, you guys are about broke, so you're gonna have to do something. Any questions?
Any questions?
So once you guys, if you get home, think of something, call me. I'm here. I'll be willing to sit down with either one of you guys to kind of go over the audit again, or the report, the findings, or just to kind of brainstorm as far as if you have to have options to try to cut some expenses here and there, or what we could do to bring in more revenues, or what. So I'm here for you guys.
What is the suggested amount that we really need to cut between now and July?
Well, you need to work with Pam here, because she knows what bills you guys have hanging out there. Like, you've got your insurance coming up probably in January, which is going to be a huge expense. You got to have insurance.
It's already due, it came out in July.
Okay, so, but you haven't yet paid it, correct?
Well, I can't, there's no money. I mean, it's everything I can do to make payroll and pay the monthly expenditure.
What's it, about 300-some thousand? roughly?
$350,141.
Yeah.
And quarterly, we were using a savings account. We were putting some amount in there.
Right.
And we was able to pay it up front, and save money by paying it up front.
Right, and we could actually save 1%. They gave us a 1% discount if we pay it all at once. And that was due by August 31st.
Yeah.
But that was just not, money wasn't there. And I don't have enough money to put money aside like I had in the past. And when I have an excess amount, I would put 10 or 20,000 in the savings account. So when that month, every month I did it. And so when that came due, I had the money to put it, to pay it off at once. But with the salaries, that's what's doing it. Salaries and wages, that's it's tripled in the last 5 years.
You might be able to get with counties and maybe try to get some more money from them as far as possible.
What number is it?
Well, as I said, she knows your bills. Like, right there's $300-some thousand that's hanging out there that you don't have money to pay, period.
And you
So-
said there was what, $500,000 deficit last year?
$566,000.
So,
And you can kind of pretty much expect the same thing again this year.
that's what I was gonna say.
Because I know how much it takes to run this, but the money's just not coming in.
You got $140 or $130-some thousand in the bank as of June 30th, practically nothing now.
No.
So,
Jailer Steve Rose brought up the 4 counties of Johnson, Magoffin, Martin, and Lawrence, which make up the jail, of them possibly paying $35 per inmate per day, which is what the state does, instead of the $31 that the counties currently pay, if that would help. Burgess said that it would take the counties paying $47 just to be able to pay the insurance. While jail administrator Byron Hansford says he's hoping to someday be able to add another county to the jail, which would be a big deal, that's not happened as of yet, and that he has been telling them of the writing on the wall for some time.
I've been telling you this day's coming for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, whenever you start cutting pay, which nobody's getting rich here, okay, they're gonna walk out the door. It's that simple.
That's fact.
And you can't run this jail with just a few employees. And if you do, then your liability goes up.
Yeah. Gotta find some, another meeting.
But you ain't got enough coming in.
The way of running this jail used to be on the back of the state. I've got numbers here to show you, the numbers of the state's going down, been going down for 2 years.
I was actually going to ask that question. Does the state inmates that are housed here, is the expense of putting them here covered by what we're getting from state inmates?
State inmates, we're not giving the state inmates like that work.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but the ones that we are housing, are they covering their own
That's
costs?
what run this jail.
Yeah, you said, is it still covering, what I'm asking is, are they still
Well,
trying to cover their
no,
own costs?
because when I first came here, there was something like 60 inmates. I got that up to around 100. We were holding 100 for a long time. COVID hit, that hurt this jail. And then we went for 2 years, and that's when we were putting the money in the bank. We were bringing state inmates in here, putting money in the bank. Then the Kentucky Jailers Association sued the Department of Corrections because they weren't coming getting their controlled intakes. Why, I don't know, but, well, I'd heard they were thinking they were going to end up giving more money to the jails, but it didn't work that way. They started taking inmates from the jails.
And those current financial woes come on the heels of last December's rather contentious meeting that I covered for you then, in which the jail board discussed a couple of different pay increases, with Treasurer Pam Burgess then stating there simply wasn't the money to provide for such increases. It was jailer Steve Rose who questioned Burgess during that meeting about what the actual finances for the jail were, and she said, quote, "We were living paycheck to paycheck right now. I have $118,000 in bills and $141,000 in the bank, and payroll is coming up next week." In the end, with the exception of Rose and Davy Williams, all voted in favor of a pay increase for all employees. I believe it was. There was also a time in service wage increase that was approved in opposition to Burgess as well during that December meeting. I'll be right back. One name, one call, one ultimate solution to your heating and cooling, sales, 24-hour service, and installation for home, commercial, boilers, chillers, and VRF systems. With over 15 years of experience and now based right here in the viewing area, Ultimate Air, 496-6651. It's just the perfect spot to grab lunch, a snack, something sweet, pick up your meds, or have them brought to you curbside. It's your hometown Good Neighbor Pharmacy that's been proud to serve you and your families for over 100 years. And now on their already incredible menu, fresh baked goods from the Daily Bread. Fraser's Prater Drugstore, 349-3135. For whatever reason, if your working days are over, don't do anything before you meet Grover. Social Security, disability, SSI, work injuries, wear and tear, and hearing loss. 888-9-GROVER.
Youth,
Experience.
modern solutions to modern problems,
Proven solutions to legal problems.
an emerging face in the courtroom.
A known presence in the courtroom.
Together, we are multifaceted.
Together, we will do right by you.
If you are having any legal issues at all, just relax and call Max.
If a car wreck is causing you pain, just pick up the phone and call Donald Wayne.
Johnson Central High School stands alone in providing the most college and career programs of study in one building throughout the entire state of Kentucky. This includes pathways in everything from the medical field to engineering, telemedia, welding, agriculture, and even aviation. And that's just to name a few of the 32 different choices. Work has also been started on a brand new state-of-the-art high school. So now is the time for your child to experience the power of opportunities in Johnson County School.
Don't let the colors and shades and styles of the season escape. New must-see arrivals are at the Seasonal Shop. Already famous for their most cozy of home decor, and now for ladies' fashions too. Business, casual, a night out, they have you taken care of. And when it comes to a night in, the shop has gone all in on their sleepwear selections that are even more comfortable than they are already classic. And don't forget bridal and baby registry at the shop, the Seasonal Shop in downtown Sagersville.
There are several risk factors that may put a patient at risk for heart disease.
Especially people who have diabetes or hypertension or high cholesterol and have a family history of heart disease.
Neglecting to see a cardiologist can put you in trouble. You may develop problems that may not be reversible.
We see many people who do not have an actual diagnosis of a heart problem, but may be at risk of heart disease, and we do whatever we can to help mitigate that risk to help prevent disease in the future. ARH, more for Appalachia.
A few weeks ago, I was discussing with you how Governor Beshear had announced that the state had found about $10 million, or a little less actually, to help make sure that Kentucky's Meals on Wheels program was able to continue given the current federal shutdown. And at that time, there was also something else in the crosshairs, being SNAP benefits. That was of great concern. Well, I've got some numbers on that, and they're not good. And the latest from the Department of Agriculture and the Trump administration as well. And we'll take a little look deeper as to just how that affects who and how many here in McGoffin County. So while I'm putting just a few more statistics together for that and a few bits of data, let's talk about your community calendar for this evening real quickly. Prior to that, it's, of course, a big week, and not just McGoffin County, but trick-or-treat's coming up this week, and so is a big cold front that's kind of got everything's, being monitored at this time. That weather outlook begs the question, will the show go on as it is scheduled right now? Well, we're just going to wait and see. And in fact, I'll reach out to Johnson County authorities and officials tomorrow and see. But I'm sure everyone's just kind of in a holding pattern and waiting to see what is going to be able to take place outside. Here in McGoffin County, the Gifted and Talented Art Show is tonight from 4 to 6. And then we pick things back up on Thursday night with, of course, during the morning for the Trunk or Treat event over in the city park. And then that night as well. And then everything downtown and Thriller, and Thursday night's not looking good. Friday, I think, is going to be on the cooler side, but okay for trick or treat. So as of right now, I can tell you that as far as all the events for the city of Sagersville for this coming Thursday, well, they're monitoring the weather conditions, and they're going to make a decision Wednesday whether or not they'll be able to have or reschedule the Spooktacular and Thriller Dance. If they do reschedule it, it'll be next Tuesday at the previous or current set time. So just going to kind of wait and watch the weather and see, and I'll let you know. Right now, it's my privilege to let you know I've got some birthday wishes phoned in. This one says, happy belated birthdays to Greg, to McKay, and to Matthew McCarty. The happiest of belated birthdays to you. And Sammy Porter, I think it is, on the 24th, the happiest of birthdays. And a big 7th birthday, everybody. Help me say happy birthday to Skylar Carpenter from Nana and Papa. The happiest of birthdays to you. Birthday, Skylar. Halloween Town's open 7 days a week over on the Gardner Farm, top of the Ivy Point Hill, 4 to 10 nightly. And stay on the beaten path if you can. There's a lot of trip hazards, wires, lights, things of that nature. They want you to have a safe and wonderful Halloween time at Halloween Town. In the McGoffin County Health Department tomorrow, in case you forgot, 11:30 to 1, Kathy Hembry is going to be the hostess at the Health Department for a community dementia meeting. This is going to be a wonderful place to meet for support, resources, and anything that so many of our folks live with related to dementia. From there, we're going to funeral service announcements provided nightly by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Services will be held starting Wednesday at 11 for 79-year-old Joanne Gullett of Sagersville. She passed away on Sunday, the daughter of the late Joseph Asbury and Eliza Patrick. She was preceded in death by her father and mother and 4 brothers and a sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Joanne is survived by her husband Ronnie, 2 sons, Alan, Joe, and Jimmy, their families, her sister Janet Crace, and a number of grandkids and great-grandchildren. Funeral services for Joanne Gullett will start Wednesday at 11 from the Sagersville Funeral Home. Visitation will be tomorrow evening after 6. Services are to be announced for 57-year-old Bobby Carl Howard of Falcon Road in Sagersville. He passed away Friday, the son of late Wani and Glenda Williams Howard. He's survived by his wife Sherry, son Bobby Carl Jr., and daughter Michelle Howard. A graveside service will be announced at a later time from the family. As cold and flu season approaches, there's another respiratory illness you should watch for: pneumonia. Like the flu, pneumonia can cause serious health risks and be life-threatening. If you have any questions about how to keep yourself and your loved ones safe and healthy, need over-the-counter relief for any symptoms, or want to keep your immune system at its best, stop by Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville. Welcome to the best sales, the best service, and the best selection in the viewing area and Eastern Kentucky. It's Conley Tire in Staffordsville, where they have big specials on big name brands every month. And as always, brake jobs, oil changes, computer diagnostics, and 6 months no interest. Conley Tire in Staffordsville and conleytire.net. If you're watching the 6 o'clock show and wondering what you're going to eat when it's over, let me remind you, Monday's special at your Sagersville Lee's famous recipe, our country fried steak dinner, 2 big pieces of steak, our delicious gravy, 2 homemade sides and a biscuit. The apples are awesome with country fried steak and everything else, but trust me. And tomorrow's special is a 3-piece breast strip meal, 2 homemade sides and a biscuit for just $6.79 plus tax at your Sagersville Lee's.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I wonder, could this be our last trip together? What if I upset him? He might never call again. But what if I don't say anything?
Hey, Dad. Is something wrong?
Actually, are you okay?
If someone you know or love is struggling, contact Big Sandy Healthcare today.
SMB is proud to stand with you with what might be your very first and definitely last checking, savings, retirement, even Christmas Club account, along with consumer, auto, mortgage, business loans that you can easily manage from anywhere in the world with safe, secure mobile and online banking that comes from over 120 years of commitment to your financial life and well-being, today, tomorrow, and forever. Salyersville National. A lot to talk about in your weather in just a few moments. First off, let's talk about SNAP benefits. And when I get done talking about the latest developments, we'll talk about just how many that affects here in Magoffin County. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, per the Associated Press, that's their report earlier today, has posted notice today saying that federal food aid will not be distributed for the month of November, which is just next week. And of course, this is seriously concerning for millions of families. This comes after the Trump administration says that it could not dive into about $5 billion in contingency funds to keep benefits through the SNAP program going, because those funds are designated to go elsewhere. Now, as the country and in the country as a whole, SNAP helps feed about 1 out of every 8 Americans and purchase groceries. The USDA said in their notice on their website that simply, at this time, there will be no benefits issued November the 1st. We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats. So this shutdown, which is now nearly a month in, started back on the 1st of October. The AP says that it's now the second longest on record ever. And the AP also says the Republican administration took steps leading up to the shutdown to make sure SNAP benefits were paid through the month of October, but the cutoff would expand the impact of the impasse to a wider swath of Americans and some of those most in need. Unless a political resolution is found in the next few days, we'll lose benefits starting November the 1st. You have the Republican administration, says the AP, blaming the Democrats who say they won't agree to reopen the government until Republicans negotiate with them on extending expiring subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. And meanwhile, Republicans, says the AP, claims Democrats must first agree to reopen the government before negotiation. Democratic lawmakers have written to Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins requesting use of contingency funds to cover the bulk of next month's benefits, but they say those contingency funds are marked for other things such as natural disasters and things of that nature. Some states have been able to step in and pledge to keep SNAP benefits going. We'll go over the list, see where Kentucky falls in that, and talk about that before the end of the week. Meanwhile, how many does it affect in just Magoffin County? As for SNAP benefits, just in Magoffin County, per the Magoffin County Legislative Report from 2024, mind you, on average, SNAP supported 3,325 people a month here in Magoffin County, over 1,594 households. This is 1 year, in which total SNAP spending in the Magoffin County area totaled $6.7 million, while there were 17 locations where SNAP was accepted here in Magoffin County. That again, 3,300 and then some individuals and almost 1,600 households just in McGoffin County. Now, while we're at it, to take a look at Medicaid numbers from the same database. In McGoffin County, same fiscal year, there were 7,467 beneficiaries. We have a population of 11,500 approximately, and 7,467 beneficiaries of Medicaid. And the total payout for Medicaid beneficiaries, when you talk about just two local providers here in the county, over $64.5 million, and the $36 million for other providers out of the county, well, you're well over $100 million just for the fiscal year of 2024. Let's talk about your weather and how all this dreary weather we are seeing is actually going to kind of be a buffer between us and what could have been a closer blow from Hurricane Melissa, now the biggest in the world. Yeah, this big cold front that we're going to talk much more about in just a few seconds on a local level is actually kind of just forming a wall between us and what could have been a closer blow had it not have been in the eastern part of the United States to Hurricane Melissa. We're going to see some winds, we're going to see some rains, and definitely it's going to crank up for a lot of folks in the eastern United States Wednesday and definitely into your Thursday. Cold fronts are kind of common this time of the year and during the hurricane season, the end of it, but this one's a little bit different. And it's going to give us the benefit of not having to deal too much with, well, a monster of a storm. The strongest storm this year. It picked up greatly over the course of the weekend. At last reported Category 5, winds of 175 miles per hour, making it the strongest storm on the planet this year. And hopefully so far this year, we won't see any worse. And Jamaica is in its crosshairs, maybe up to 3.5, 4 feet of rain, 13 feet of storm surge, and 160 mile per hour sustained winds in that part of the world. We started off today at a very mild 48 degrees this morning, topped out at 59. Not much of a gradient there to speak of, and that's kind of a pattern for some of your 7-day. Low to mid-50s, low to mid-40s for highs and lows, so we're not going to see much change. Temperature-wise, not that it's a good temperature zone to be in, we do have this evening a 90% chance of some showers. Now, keep in mind, there's absolutely nothing on the radar as of right now. So during the overnight, look for some rain, maybe up to a quarter or half an inch. But we're still a ways away from that getting anywhere close to us. Those showers are going to be likely to stick around in the morning. Cloudy for your Tuesday, maybe another 1/10 of an inch or so by and large. Cloudy, 56 for your high. Your low on your Tuesday, 43 tomorrow night with another 50% chance of some showers. And guess what? Rolls in Wednesday. We crank it up with a cold front even further. 51 for your high on Wednesday. Showers likely, winds up to 15 miles per hour or so at times. Maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain Wednesday. Showers lingering Wednesday night, a low of 44. Still showers very likely, 90% Thursday with a high of only 47 degrees. I know that's graphics already flipped, but yeah, Thursday for everything downtown. 47 for the high, 38 for the low with some wind and rain. Not all that nice. Friday, trick or treat, we will see a cool one, but a dry one, sunny. And mostly sunny at least. 54 for your high and definitely above freezing Friday night. So trick or treat looks to be a winner. Thursday does not. The weekend, mid-50s Saturday, some sun, some showers. 53 Sunday, some sun, some showers. Ditto Monday. That'll wrap it up for tonight. Hope to see you back here tomorrow. Thank you for watching.